clarity of mind and thought. I have brought you through a process of thinking concerning Moses and his having to speak to the rock when already he had experienced the striking of the rock that God had instructed him to, but this was some time earlier. We find one account, Exodus 17:6, the other, Numbers chapter 20, verse 8. Some time had expired, but the circumstances had not. They were complaining about water both times. They didn't have water to drink. They were fearful. Perhaps cattle were dying. I mean, all of the things that humans have to deal with, and it causes us to become very emotional and often very irrational. And so the thing that I asked you yesterday is, how do you gain clarity of thought and mind in the midst of a crisis? Terrible things are happening here. Circumstances are very, very dire. How do we gain control? Well, one thing that I'm mindful of, and I've experienced it, and I've known people who have experienced it, and I say it's like this. Sometimes it only takes a moment, just a moment in time to completely change our perspective, our mindset, the way we want to deal with something, just in a moment of time. But these times come from a moment to where we're ready to stop what we're doing, to allow ourselves a moment before we reach out and do something that's built upon our emotions and our pent-up frustrations, that instead of acting out, we just stop and take a moment and just cry out to God. Cry out to God. That's why I find these words so powerful. When God says, speak to the rock, speak to the rock. And we know that this rock was Christ. We find this in the book of 1 Corinthians. This rock that followed them in the wilderness was Christ. And of course, when you talk about Christ, you're talking about the Holy Spirit and the ability to just speak to the Holy Spirit concerning what you're dealing with, about your emotions, and to help you to overcome the emotional and to arrive at the rational, to go from I'm being led and driven by my passions and by my emotions, and I'm about to do something that is perhaps dangerous or something that's going to cause something I'm going to be regretful for the rest of my life. I'm stopped. And I'm allowing a moment of time. I'm allowing things to just pause and speak to the rock. To just go before God. And allow that moment when faith would arise. And we would move aside, allow our emotions and all of these passions to be set aside, where we say, Lord, you do something by faith, and just allow God to intervene and God to move. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.